Hello, hello, my dear friends, you've reached Elena's bar. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. She'll help improve your fitness, but there's also so much more. 'Cause here are just a few things that this channel has in store. There's barre and there's Pilates and there's belly dancing too. And many styles of yoga, so I'm sure there's one for you. Then watch her practice piano string from right within her home. She's in such big condition, she'll outrun the metronome. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. They're the best place on the internet, the very best by far. It's not just the piano, but the ukulele too. The guitar and violin are even more that she can do. She does so many different things, it's hard not to lose track. I nearly didn't mention that she posts on her Substack. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. Yet controversial topics may be brought up for discussion, but try not to provoke her or she'll swear at you in Russian. And sometimes certain topics can make quite a big impression. So remember, you take part at your own risk and your discretion. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. You might even meet Elena if you're quite a loyal fan. She's got a fixed male cat, but she's so desperate for a man. We've really got it all, then you couldn't ask for more. So sit right back and watch Elena shave a 3 or 4. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far.
Hello, hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to Elena's Barre, low impact full body workouts and the resurgence of sanity. Hi, Steve. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing fine.
Awesome. I was very excited about this topic, guys. And I know that
Whoa, wait a minute. What's our
What?
topic?
Restrained for women.
Are you trying to make the world hate us?
They already do, so why bother?
Oh, okay. Well, man, this could be a loaded topic, but guess what? We can have fun with it.
Yep. Hi, White Clouds. Great to see everyone today. Guys, if you are joining us, remember to please leave us your comments. Tell us what you think about this controversial topic. We appreciate your feedback. If you disagree, also tell us why, okay? If you disagree with anything we hear, a quick disclaimer here, we are going to ruffle some feathers with today's topic. It's not going to be very popular, guys, okay? So yeah, if you agree with something that we say, remember to please like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, and it helps us to bring awareness to other people who need to hear this. And yeah, let's dive in, Steve.
Okay. What would a feminist say if you asked them the question, do women need to be restrained?
Hell no. We already know the answer to that question.
Oh, okay. Now let's, what would a feminist say? Do men need to be restrained?
Of course, they are evil. They're evil misogynists.
Okay. Yeah, so you could say men need to be restrained from the evil things they do.
Mm-hmm.
And Christians, tradcons wouldn't have a problem with that. Feminists wouldn't have a problem with that. But if you say women need to be restrained, oh man, everybody's against you. Would that be accurate?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, does people in general need to be restrained?
Yeah, this is why we have discipline, right? and
This is
accountability.
why we have laws.
Yeah, laws, exactly.
If there wasn't a law against driving 120 miles an hour down the freeway, more people would do it.
Yeah.
So we have speed limits. Okay, there's all kinds of traffic laws. You have to abide by those. And, a stoplight. Yeah, there's a restraint. There's a law. Can't blow through that. And if you do, and you're caught, there will be consequences. Okay, and we agree these are good things for society, both, and they apply equally to men and women, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, most of us have jobs. Are there restraints in your job?
Sure.
I mean, I'm just the employee. I don't have access to the checkbook. I really don't have any authority. The only authority I have is that which has been delegated to me by tradition or practice or common sense. Some decisions I can make, they're of low consequence. Others, no, I need to ask my boss. And he can approve spending money on something. I can't. So I have restriction on my authority and decision-making ability. And my authority can be, whatever decision I made can be overrode. And then, okay, well, I'm not in charge. What am I going to do about it? Women seem to understand this and mostly accept that in their jobs. So, women experience restraint on their actions all the time.
Yeah.
And no one really would argue that that's a bad thing.
Except for the feminists.
No, not even the feminists.
Not even the well, I mean,
Trained in their job.
okay, when see, when they do it for a job, they don't do it for the benefit of one man, because they're pursuing their independence. They don't want to be committed to one man. This is why they would much rather yeah, we are past 8-minute mark, suck the dick of their boss rather than being loyal to their husbands.
You're taking it to the sexual.
I mean, okay. How else do women get high positions, Steve? It's because men
well, they
give
do.
it to them.
I mean, basically, that's through manipulation.
Through manipulation, through emotional manipulations, through their sexuality. Yeah, they don't use it with the father. This is with the father of their kids, with their husband. But they are okay to use it for other purposes to achieve their independence from one man. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, otherwise, they'd have to actually perform at a super high level in their job, do work, and have exemplary performance and all that. That's a lot of work. Isn't it easier to just manipulate and sweet talk and, some sexual favors? Because they know who has the power. It's someone above them to promote them. They don't, in their job, they don't act as a partner and demand equal say in the decisions.
Well, there is the hierarchy in the job, and the women are okay with the hierarchy, which means that they really don't want to do. This is why we have the dead bedroom situation in the families, because women are willing to do it for their bosses, but they are not willing to do it for their husbands.
Yeah, why is that?
Wow. Lots of factors play into it. I mean,
Oh, you want me to give you my answer,
yeah,
and you can tell me
yeah.
if
Give
you
me your
agree?
answer. Yes.
Okay, in a marriage, she's already got the resources.
Mm-hmm.
The money is coming in by virtue of the marriage.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There is no pay for performance. There is in a job. So you don't do your job, you're going to get fired, and you won't have the money, and you won't survive. Well, in marriage, it's just there. So she doesn't have to do anything to receive support, financial support
Mm-hmm.
in general. Secondly, she's bought into this belief that I'm a partner. I have equal say. And so she feels she has more power in the marriage. And of course, the courts would back her up. You know, if he does something wrong, she can go get other men to enforce stuff on her husband, or she can leave him and still keep the financial support through child support or spousal maintenance. So there's no consequences here.
Yeah.
She doesn't really need to be accountable. She doesn't need to bring anything to keep living in the house that in most cases he's paying for, to keep eating the food that he earns, works for in most cases. Yes, okay, she probably has a job
Mm-hmm.
too. But mostly women don't earn as much as men. And if there's financial hardships, well, you know what? You better pick up some extra hours at work. He needs to make more because, it's his responsibility, although they're equal in deciding things. So if he wants sex and she doesn't, her vote is equal to his. She doesn't have to do anything. She just has to be.
Well, this is why we say men must become, women just are, right?
Right.
There are so many things that are wrong here.
Okay, let's look at another real life example. This one's not about women, specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it California? They were having too many problems with shoplifting and prosecuting people, and it was too much of a burden on the system. So I think it's changed now, but for a while it was, if you shoplift, basically steal $900 or less, it wouldn't be a felony. Basically, you wouldn't be arrested for that.
Seriously?
So what do you think happened?
Well, I can see the analogy here. Women are shoplifting their husbands pretty hard, and then there are no
Right. Okay,
consequences.
but let's not go there yet. What happened when they passed this law is the amount of shoplifting for $900 or less increased dramatically, and the stores couldn't do anything about it. People would just come in, grab
Take.
stuff, and leave, and the stores knew, hey, we can't do anything about this.
I know, right?
So they started putting things behind lock and key. Okay, that wasn't entirely effective. So what happened to the neighborhoods where this was prevalent? The stores closed. They left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you made the analogy with women. When women are unrestrained and there's no accountability and no enforcement, no restraint on their behavior, and they act the way they do, What do men do? They leave. Nope, I'm not shopping here. I'm not doing this. I'm not wifing you up. I'm good. No.
Mm-hmm.
So when women started abusing the sexual marketplace, men left the sexual marketplace or the relationship marketplace, however you want to say that.
Yeah. I just wish men did. I did read an article yesterday. I couldn't fall asleep. I went to bed very late, guys, and I didn't sleep well. But I was reading an article yesterday by Professor Stephen Baskerville.
Yeah.
And he says there is a solution to feminism. There is a solution to single motherhood and to fatherless children. It's just a marriage strike. And essentially, this is what men are already doing. Not with a big scale, of course. There are still simps who wife up this horse, and unfortunately, there are a lot of them, you know. But the more we convince men that marriage is not good for them, will actually solve the problem eventually, because women will become desperate. And they need to become desperate so that they can give up their power, their control. So they will start begging men to come and, and like change it so that they can have a decent life there.
We don't need to teach men that. We don't need to educate men.
Yeah.
Men, by nature, are problem solvers.
Yeah.
They look at a situation and they figure it out. And then they think, gee, is there a way for me to achieve my goal? To win. And I don't mean win as in men win, women lose. I don't mean it that way.
Yeah.
A man to win at the marriage. So, you know what? I'm buying in. I'm going to have kids. I'm going to have a marriage. It's going to last forever. I'm not going to lose half my shit. And I'm not going to lose my kids because I'm here for the long term. That's a win. Okay. If he can't achieve his goal, a lot of men are just not going
To marry.
even give it a try.
Yeah. And look, I 100% support that decision. Don't get married, gentlemen. It's not worth it. I mean, especially when we know that most women today are run through public horse with a feminist mindset. They're so fucked up in the head. They're so delusional, so entitled. Like they don't care. They don't care. I was also watching the debate by Pearl Davis and Lila Rose, and oh gosh, like they really don't care about children. They say, well, we want the kids. We want to save those unborn kids. Why don't you take care of the kids who already exist? Who are already being ruined by the single motherhood that you refuse to address?
Well, now you're confusing facts with feelings.
Well,
So,
I mean, they appeal to the feelings all the time. It's like, oh, but these are the kids, and we should save them. We should by saving those unborn kids. Why don't we hold those women accountable for killing those babies? Why don't they go to jail? Why do they get a free jail card from that?
Because they're victims.
Yeah, right. When they are choosing to spread their legs, they are no victims, Steve. They say, it's my choice, my body, right?
Some man just talked the pants off of him. It's his fault, not hers. So, this idea of restraint of a woman. she's got a past, a body count. What restrained her from doing that in her younger years before this guy met her?
Nothing. I mean,
Exactly. Nothing restrained her from doing whatever she wanted to do. What are the consequences up to now?
well, even now,
to-
like, what are the consequences for her now? Let's be honest. If a man can't maintain his authority in the family, he shouldn't consider marriage.
Right. But the consequences up until, I don't see, a couple of years ago were not much. She has her past. She can still
Mhm.
find a man to wife her up. No real consequences. No restraint on her behavior.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Do women need to be restrained?
Yes.
Do they have accountability themselves? Can they
Restrain
restrain
themselves?
themselves?
No, they can't. They can't hold themselves accountable. They can't hold each other accountable. This is just BS. This is the feminist BS. Like, I'm so strong and powerful. I can hold myself accountable. And in addition to that, I'm going to hold everybody else accountable. Feminist in disguise. Here you go. Even if you say all of the right things, you still have that same mindset where you don't need men to restrain you. Or you don't want men to restrain you because it hurts your feelings. And you've been holding yourself accountable for such a long time. I'm sorry, Steve. I'm on a roll today. Let's keep going with that restraint. Yeah. Women
Okay.
need to be restrained by men. This is what they need.
Okay. So are women better off being restrained than left to do whatever they want?
Of course.
What happens when you don't have restraint?
I go off the rails.
Have you ever been known to make comments and create drama and controversy on the internet or Twitter or whatnot?
Yes.
Does it sometimes blow up in your face?
Oh, most likely, yes. Every single time.
Okay. And then you go talk to your husband or sometimes Nick or me. And we say, oh, okay. Here's the situation. Oh, here's how you should handle it. So you do appeal after you've kind of acted without restraint. You do go to a man to say, oh, I think I stepped in it this time.
Fix it for me now because I stepped into it. Yes, I'm guilty as charged. Ladies, I'm not like, okay. I am still a woman and I do mess up. So,
And you know what? That's fine. This just comes with the territory. All women do this. I'm not being critical.
No, I know that you are not. It's just like if there are a couple of women who might be tuning in, I'm just saying that like all women, even the rational women, they need to be restrained.
So when this happens, I just chuckle. Okay. I don't dislike Elena at all. I don't get mad at her. Oh, okay, well, yeah, that wasn't so wise. Maybe you should have run it by somebody before you reacted. Maybe you should have taken some time, hours, a day. Write down what you want to say and then wait.
Write down. Yeah.
And then decide if you still want to do it. So the immediacy the need to address it. And okay, when you do that, when you make a decision, when a woman makes a decision that way, she's in a high state of emotion. Actually, when men make rash, they're called rash decisions. Rash decisions are made before entirely thinking it through, and your emotions have a big impact on poor decision making.
Yeah.
So it's restraint. You are not allowed. Here's an example that Plutarch kind of imposes. You're not allowed to make rash statements on the internet and just respond without thinking about it. Okay, well, that works, except when it doesn't, and she does it anyway.
Sometimes, yes, I go. Yeah.
But, I mean, without that restraint,
Mhm.
it would be 10, 20 times worse than it is. It's manageable. I mean,
Oh,
Elena's
yeah,
pretty good
yeah.
with things.
Oh,
But but she knows how I mean, the internet is kind of an ugly place at times.
Okay, here, I love this comment by Tacticus. Rational women. I like it how he puts it in parentheses. Are restrained by wise men. Elena, you are the product of Plutarch, helping you be the Elena you can be. Yes, I 100% agree. Yeah, if it wasn't for my husband, guys, I don't know where I would be actually. Yeah, he is putting a lot of restraint on me, for sure. And then
But
it's not just, look, it's not just a man. When there is a community of men, right? Like even back in the old social order with the patriarchy, that evil patriarchy that feminists so hate. Look, there was a husband, right? A woman was under his headship, and then society, other men were also restraining her by imposing consequences on her. So it wasn't just your husband. I mean, it's mostly your husband, right? Because he's the
right.
head of the household, right? But there would be other men who would say, "No, you can't do that. This is not approved." And then the wives, because they had more authority in the family, unlike today, they would
So
be keeping their women in check.
you're a woman that is restrained. Now let's talk about that. That sounds so bad. Now let's think about that. From experience, when you act without restraint, sometimes it kind of blows up in your face.
Mm-hmm.
So if you abide by the restraint, you may not like it at the time, but you also know when you're thinking more clearly, yeah, that was a good thing. It actually turned out better. My response was better. I got my message across better.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was good. Plus, with that restraint, there's always a feeling of security. Yes, I'm secure in this relationship. Yes, my husband cares. Yes, most of the time he actually makes good decisions. Yeah, this is safe. And I'm thankful that he stops me from doing stupid things sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
that leads to some overall long term, you feel peace in the relationship and secure. Now, all women are prone to emotions in the moment. And yeah, Elena's no different. She can really resent it for,
I
an hour
can.
or two, sometimes a day.
Yeah,
If
it's
she's really out of
fluctuates.
sorts.
And look, guys, I haven't been making a lot of videos this week. Uh, First and foremost, because I was struggling from allergies, and I still am under the weather here. But mm, I was trying to behave the whole week, except for when you guys told me, "Ah, don't do it, don't do it." I read it too late. Yeah.
Yeah, I should read this because I think it's just hilarious. What was it? because I had a good response to you. I just think this is kind of cute. Oh, it's yeah, we do a lot of texting sometimes. It goes on for a while. I'm getting close.
Okay.
I think. Man, I'm still.
You're still scrolling? Is it my messages mostly?
Yeah.
I know, right? I write a lot. I did actually write an article, guys, but I sent it for review to the guys because it was based on that debate where the Tretcons,
Oh, here it is.
abortion. It really, really triggered me. So I did write an article. I sent it to the
Hey.
guys for review.
Elena wrote this in our group chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She knew it was just going to be me on here today. So she said, guys, I was behaving almost the whole week. So tomorrow we're going to have fun. Right, Steve? And so I said, sure. So we can almost have fun. And her husband, Plutarch, wrote in, ROFL. She totally walked into that one.
Yeah, I did.
So, she got into a minor kerfuffle on the internet.
Mostly on Twitter, guys. It's like anyway. Yeah, let's not get off topic today.
So, that's restraint.
Mhm.
Okay, that just shows, okay, you restrain a woman, it's never going to be perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's going to cross the line. Then you got to talk about that. I don't impose any consequences. I live hundreds, couple thousand, not quite a couple thousand miles away from her, so I don't have any consequences. But whatever consequences are in her marriage, that's between her and her husband. And yes, there are sometimes it's a spending issue. Well, you're curtailed from spending for a while. I mean, the restraint or the consequences meet whatever's required.
Mm-hmm.
But in the process, it's all, Elena knows it's done with her best interest in mind, or the best interest of the marriage. It's not to just punish and control her. It's for her. It's for the best outcome for her. And throughout that, she knows she's loved. So it's really not that big of a deal. And she's actually a happier woman and more secure than if she had to be out there making all the decisions herself and dealing with all the responsibilities and consequences of making bad decisions.
It sounds so empowering, Steve. But okay, they want to make all of the decisions. But whenever you make a decision, they want to be like men, right? So, but men do it, so we need to do it too. We can do it too. We are strong and independent, right? But men are bearing the consequences of their actions. How about, you want to be equal to a man, then suck it up and deal with the consequences of your own stupid, irrational decision. Oh, wait a second. You don't want the pain, right? You just want the gain when you are strong, powerful, and independent, when
right.
some cock is bailing you out and saving you from yourself.
Women taking responsibility for the outcome of her decisions? I mean, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Women being accountable for bad decisions. which would mean admitting to that, which would mean singling themselves out. Yep, I screwed up. No, it doesn't happen.
I
You
admit
can
when I
talk all
screw
along.
up.
You can say, well, it should be that way. Yes, you can keep talking about it should be that way, but it won't be, because
Yeah.
that's not women's nature.
Yeah.
Because it's not their nature, it's basically a lack of internal accountability. Call that internal restraint. The restraint, in order to keep them from hurting themselves and society, has to come from someplace. Therefore, can't come from the inside. It has to come from the outside.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that, like, whenever women, it's so funny, their desire, their drive for power and control, they immediately want to control others. Like, okay, if I can hold myself, if I don't, basically the line is so low there. If I am not out to lunch completely delusional, or if I'm not a train wreck there, right? If I'm not a completely run through whore by all definitions, right? If I okay, I restrain my sexuality online, right? I'm not a rigid feminist, basically. Oh, let me now restrain, let me now control others. Now I have the right. Now I can, because I have that minimal amount of self self control. Let me now teach others how they are supposed to live their lives.
Sure.
When they themselves, they need to be restrained externally, not from how they feel like, oh, but I have such deep connection with Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another interesting thing. I believe, and I don't have any proof of this, but it's easier to restrain an above average intelligence woman than an average intelligence woman, because you can actually talk to a above average intelligence woman, and she kind of understands this cause and effect thing.
Oh, you mean kind of like
Whereas,
gentle parenting? Sorry, I was just
yeah,
doing your clips, guys, for the past few days.
gentle parenting. Yeah, okay. Without consequences.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. I mean, the average intelligence woman is just going to do what she wants
Mm-hmm.
and then expect it to turn out for the best. That cause and effect just is not quite connecting. And she thinks that because she can walk, she deserves to vote and have equal say in the man. It doesn't matter if he makes more money than her. She's just as equal as he is, just because she can walk and breathe.
Yeah.
But actually, she is even more important than he is, because she's got that glorious thing between her legs.
Yeah, a GPS. I know, right? I did bring up the taming of the shrew on Monday, and I immediately received some unhappy comments from some simps, actually, like the guys who were shocker, right? Like, are you familiar, right? You've read
Yeah,
the Taming of the Shrew,
yeah, I
right,
know.
by William Shakespeare? So, how was he restraining his wife, who was, by
I mean,
all definition back then, in during that time a feminist, right? She was rebellious, she was combative, she was loud.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. I mean, I know the general story. I don't remember the
Yeah,
details.
but
How did he restrain her?
he used all sorts of tactics. Like he wouldn't give her food. He wouldn't like respond to her emotional outbursts. You know, like he would completely like no, not.
Didn't he go to try and use the authority of her father to get her in line?
I don't remember. Okay, let's see here. Petruchio. How did Petruchio restrain Caterina? He did marry her for dowry because nobody wanted to deal with her, and yeah, her father basically had to pay a lot of money to the guy who would take her. So yeah, like I can see the argument for dowry here, that our good friend DC Shah is suggesting that okay, if a woman is out to lunch like crazy, right, nobody wants to wife you up, well, at least offer some money. Maybe some guys will consider that, make it somewhat attractive to them. His wife. Yeah, he was taming her. Okay. These methods were intended to break her will and make her obedient to him. So here you go. Denying food and sleep. Petruchio withholds food and sleep from Caterina, claiming everything is not good enough for her or is somehow problematic. He says he's trying to curb her mad and headstrong humor. Then contradictory behavior. Petruchio acts erratically and contradicts Catherine to exert his dominance. For instance, he insists it's the moon when it's clearly the sun, and he won't continue traveling until she agrees with him. So there was some like kind of forceful play there. Emotional manipulation. He pretends to be concerned about her well-being while simultaneously making her uncomfortable and frustrated. For example, he claims to demand perfection from his servants for her benefit, all while she's hungry and tired. Like you see, like do you see dread? Like, like that's the dread, and like it's not new, guys. It's not new. Nothing. The female nature hasn't changed since the dawn of time. And then mistreatment and humiliation. Petruchio behaves rudely at their wedding, arriving late and dressed in strange clothes. He also instructs his servants to mistreat her and denies her basic necessities, like through hunger, through like I'm okay. These are some extreme tactics here, but if women are so feral and unmanageable, maybe that's what would help. I mean, they're kind of asking,
okay.
kind of asking by their own behavior, they're kind of asking for that.
He tried a number of different things.
Yeah.
But a lot of those things failed.
Yeah.
So then he would move on and try something else.
Yeah.
And then that didn't work. And he moved on and tried something else. So, okay, it's a comedy. Okay, so it's exaggerating things. But the point is, he didn't just do all this to absolutely control her.
Yeah.
He wasn't power hungry. He just wanted a good wife.
Yeah, he wanted a
and
compliant
she was
wife.
Just so damn difficult that he had to try a lot of things.
Yeah, and then in the end, by breaking her like a wild horse, he got what he wanted. You know, and she, as in the end, she ended up being happy. I mean, come on.
Oh man, she was happier when she wasn't following her own will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She ended up being more compliant to her husband. She respected him more because, in order, and I did talk about it with Donovan Sharp, and in order for a woman to have respect for her, she must be fearful of the consequences that her husband can impose on her. If a woman is not fearful of her man, she's not going to respect him. Like, look, I know what kind of consequences my husband would impose on me if I chose to cheat on him, let's say, or like flirt with the guys, you know? Like, my luggage would be out the door, the signing paper will be on top of that. It's like, I know what's coming for me because he's already done it before. I'm honestly scared, you know, but like, see, that's the good thing. Being scared of your man in a good way, when he can execute his authority and impose consequences on you. I'm just saying to the ladies, it's a good thing.
Now, this is entirely consistent with Christianity and how God deals with us. He's an authority.
Mm-hmm.
You need a proper fear of God.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't seem so strange. We don't really understand it or think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are there consequences? Yeah. If you do your own thing and sin, basically you lose your salvation. Oh man, there's a consequence.
Well,
Okay,
and
now
Mhm.
now is there mercy here? Okay, you messed up. Okay, you got to make amends. You have to confess to God. I'm a Catholic. You confess it to a priest. You make some reparations. You have to pay some kind of penalty. It's usually very mild. And then the mercy comes in and you're forgiven and you maintain your status. Okay, well, men are the head of the household.
Mm-hmm.
So, and God, the Father, we have an image of him as the Father. And okay, fathers deal with people a certain way, husbands deal in a certain way. And then in Ephesians, Christ is to the church as the husband is to the wife. Okay, another analogy. There's an authority here. So there's consequences, but there's immense love and mercy.
Consequences and authority are good for women. Women need to be checked on. We can't self-regulate. It's the feminist BS that was sold to women to convince them to hate on their men and totally disrespect men and not have any fear towards men. This is why when women are presiding in the households, they are actually unhappy. It might feel empowering. Yeah, that I give them credit for. Like yeah, but I'm strong. He's doing what I want him to do. Did you want yourself a slave, or did you want yourself a husband that you would respect and that you would be happy with in the end? You would be in a long-term committed relationship with this man. You wouldn't want to leave him for another stronger, more dominant man. Like the paradox of this whole thing. It's like, yeah, but I want a man to do what I tell him to do. Up until the moment
Right.
she doesn't, you know?
And then there's a spiral here.
Mm-hmm.
The more control she gets,
Mm-hmm.
and the more she controls her man, the weaker she sees her man.
Yes.
Therefore, she doesn't feel secure. What's a solution to not feeling secure? Exert more control. So the more control she exerts, and the more the man gives in to that control, the weaker she sees him, and then the more she disrespects him, and the more contempt she has for him, and the more insecure she is. And so then she lashes out and says, all men are evil. And she's even more insecure and more afraid of the world because she was not restrained, and she was given the freedom to be in control of too much.
Women, when
Women
they
exhaust
yeah,
themselves trying to
exactly, yeah,
control everything around them.
exactly. It's not their duty. It's not their. They are not designed to do that. Like our brain. Oh, you sent that video. Do you remember that video? Overload, information overload. Like men. Oh, that was such a good video. I don't know, guys. I'll try to find it. Hold on. Like Steve, you keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah, it's Harry Enfield.
Okay, here.
Woman, know your place.
Oh, that was an awesome video. It was also very short, guys. We are going to show it to you today. Okay.
I don't know. It might be copyrighted.
Oh, damn. It was so good. The visual was so good. Well, we'll try to explain it. So the information comes into man's brain. So it starts here and then it fills it up completely. The information gets into woman's brain. It starts the same, but then it gets all.
It's just a full scribble, and then it shows these crazy women.
I know, right?
Yes, believe it or not, these women have college degrees. It's British humor.
I loved it. Yeah.
It's kind of okay. Humor always has an element of truth.
Yeah.
But humor takes it to the extreme, and then you just have to laugh at it.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's true. Like, look, somebody tells me, Elena, here is the problem. My immediate response is, okay, I've been kind of trained, like to like not default into the panic mode right away. But if it's personal, if it's something that really bothers me, and if it's something that I'm really concerned about, oh yes, I am going to panic. I am going to emote. There is no way around it. And like women, they can act and pretend and say whatever they want to say for the public purposes, so that they are being viewed as these strong creatures who can think rationally. No, if it's something personal that she cares about, no.
Okay, that's a good example. Okay, so when you get in that state, you're prone to act. You're highly emotional. You want to do something. It's not well thought out because you're feeling insecure. Somebody hurt your feelings, and I need to show them. That is the time that a woman most needs to be restrained.
Restrained, yes.
And then comforted and said, okay, you're safe. You're secure here. I love you. Well, let's think about this. I'll help you deal with it. We'll figure it out. Now, what are you feeling? She needs to be heard and understood, kind of pandered to, loved, and given a feeling of security, because her brain is just going nuts. She wants to do something, and showing restraint will actually, if she's kind of trained
to reciprocate the restraint.
Well,
if she's not like, you restrain me, no.
This is why
I know
the way a woman or a boy is raised matters. That restraint from the father, has to come from the father.
Yeah.
Who restrains and says, no, that's it. You're not doing that. Here's the consequences. I love you. You're not doing that. Okay, so they have some experience of this occurrence. So then when a husband has to do that to his wife, she's not going to throw a hissy fit and refuse it. She has some experience that, oh, okay, I won't do that. I'm still secure in my marriage and in your love for me and all this. Okay, I don't like it, but I'll settle down for now.
You know how I would know if, let's say, my husband didn't care about me? when he would stop restraining me. This is when I would know that, okay, he's not there like 100% because he's not paying attention to what I'm doing. And it's not like the micromanage restraint that you guys were talking about. Do you remember during your shows before? Maybe we also
Right.
talked about it. It's not like, oh, you go here, you buy this, you do this, like stepping, like all of these micro steps that women immediately default to. Especially you talk to feminists, they're like, oh, but this is the extreme, right? They make everything into the extremes because it's easier to fight it that way for them. But it's the restraint of the important decisions, and yeah, you might have some freedom within the marriage to do certain things, but when it comes down to like feelings, emotions, and all of that stuff, they need to be restrained. It's for your own
Well,
benefit.
yeah, I mean, it's not that big a deal, really, because you have a lot of leeway. You have a lot of authority.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility. Okay, you're going to go buy the groceries.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to come up with a grocery list here. I'm going to add some things to it. Just do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you come back with a lot of extra crap that he doesn't like, or you spend too much,
yeah,
there's going to be a discussion. But yet, there's probably no consequences. It's your area of authority, and there's going to be a discussion. Okay, so there are immense areas of you have the freedom and the authority and the responsibility to act in that certain way. Now, you know how far you can go. If you go too far, well, then we're going to have a discussion. And there may be some consequences if you really overstep things, but really the restraints are shown in a lot of little areas and through a lot of talk and communication. It's not micromanagement. It's not. A man has much more important things to do than to spend all his time controlling his woman. Oh man, that's a life of hell.
It is.
If
It
you,
is.
if
Yeah.
you have to resort to micromanaging and controlling every aspect of your woman's life,
That's.
not many men have the desire or the energy to do that.
I've heard somebody mentioned that you set a tracker on your phone, set the cameras inside the house, and so that you can see what happens in the house. It may not be a bad idea especially if you have children, right? But what would you consider it? Is it like trying to micromanage her, or it's mostly trying to protect yourself from her, like infidelity maybe, or especially when you have resources? I mean, I can see the
Thor talked about that.
Yeah. Oh, right. It was Thor. Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that.
You shouldn't have to do that. Okay.
You should say, here's my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't have to spend all that time monitoring her.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I can see those cases where you're suspicious of something.
Yeah.
A monitor on a tracking on her phone, or maybe more discreetly, a tracking on the family car. Notice I said family car, the joint car that's owned in the marriage that she drives. So in that case, you don't need to track her whereabouts all the time. But if you're suspicious and there's a pattern and you have reason to look, okay, well, now you have the information. But most people don't need to do that. And you shouldn't have to do that to your wife or your woman.
Yeah.
Man, you don't want to have to do that. I mean, that's... Why do you have her around if you don't trust her?
Well, okay. I was watching a live stream by Donovan Sharp this week. By the way, he did a couple of great live streams that I really, really enjoyed. Um, there was a guy, he called in and he was telling his story how his woman wouldn't have sex with him, and then she would keep contacting with her ex boyfriend of some kind, but then she would keep convincing him that everything is fine, no, we are not, I'm not cheating on you, basically. And then he wanted to collect more evidence against her. And then when Donovan told him, and like the whole community was telling him, look, it's done, she is cheating on you, because he goes on deployment, he walks back and forth, he travels a lot for work. And then the whole community was telling him that she is cheating on you with this guy on your phone, and he didn't want to believe it. Well, I
That's
mean, he
typical.
was already suspecting it. This is why he called in, but he wasn't ready to prepare the exit strategy.
Right. Now, the common red pill advice or opinion is if you suspect she's cheating, she is.
Yes, and this is what
Now,
Donovan was telling him. Yeah.
this assumes that he's an average, normal man, not a paranoid, not a narcissist, not
Yeah.
one of the have personality disorders. So 80%, 90% of men, whatever it is, are relatively normal.
Hmm.
Those guys, if they suspect it, it's probably happening.
Yeah. It's like a lot of men, they don't want to believe it, because especially when they have kids with this woman, right? It's just to show to you
Right.
ladies, if you're watching, like, men are not evil here.
See, it's not just that
Hmm.
one thing.
Yeah.
He's processing unconsciously every interaction they're doing. The way
Hmm.
she looks at him, the way she talks to him, what she used to do, how her behavior has changed. He's not conscious of these things.
Yeah.
But he gets a feeling. Call it an intuition. Women understand that word intuition. Doesn't it? Yes, it's feelings based. It's below the level of conscious perception.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Often women, because they don't want to be accountable, they'll develop a narrative in their brain and then call it intuition and apply whatever it is they're thinking to blame the man and not themselves. Because they're feeling guilt about something. They don't want to feel guilty. They don't want to be accountable. They'll they'll push it off on him and blame him.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They even refuse accountability because they don't want to feel guilty for something that they've done.
I'll be back in 20 seconds.
Okay, go for it. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, let me take some water here. I'll respond to Tacticus comment here. The best Elena you can be is by Plutarch's patriarchy leadership. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, women today, they don't understand it. Uh, they don't want to acknowledge that they are not perfect. That they were initially designed to comply with the man's headship and authority. But then, like Nick said, they rebel against that initial design, against their female nature. Looks like Steve is coming back.
Yeah.
Okay,
I-
did you hear?
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
what you're saying. I don't know. They were designed for this, and something went wrong.
Well, I mean, they rebel.
Sure.
It's their fallen nature, and all women are.
Sure. It's
Like,
man's
this is
fallen
why.
nature that causes him to make bad decisions.
Well, man's fallen nature would be simping for his woman.
Okay, so what? How did society, civilization, operate for millennia, 2,000 years?
How?
Well, it seems to me that women were restrained.
Yeah.
That's known as the evil patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Civilization advanced. There was Christendom, Christian beliefs in Europe. Europe expanded, developed. Yeah, there was ups and downs. But you know what? Throughout this whole time, there were families and there were children.
Mm-hmm.
And now women are not so much restrained, and women have the power, and they're actually restraining men. And it's kind of the inverse. We don't have so many families not having children.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Restrain men?
Well, they can't
empower
restrain
women
them.
and-
Okay. I would say they can't restrain them. Whenever they can't restrain them personally, they go and ask for help, for external help from the institutions, from the government, right? So those effeminate men who are in those institutions, they still rely on men's help to execute upon their stupid decisions.
Yeah,
And
so it seems simple to me. You empower women and restrain men. Family declines, birth rate declines, and society declines.
Yes.
You empower men or recognize their power and put some restraints on women. The human race continues. You know what? Argue against me. Tell me why I'm wrong and why we need to reinvent the wheel and come up with another solution. I don't know. We could just go back to the way things were, and I don't think most women disliked it. And in fact, when it came to women's suffrage, women did the vast majority of women, 90% of women did not want the right to vote.
Rachel Wilson actually writes about it, guys, in her book, The Occult of Feminism. The Occult Feminism. I highly recommend you to read it, especially to you ladies. If you are watching, go read it. Most women did not want that suffrage. It's like suffering. Yeah. They were comfortable. Were the exception? Was the abuse, right? Were there a couple of evil men out there who would abuse their power? Yeah, of course. But it wasn't the vast majority. And yeah, they always will be. Yeah. The vast majority of women were satisfied under the man's leadership, under the man's authority.
Yeah, I mean, It was just the way it was, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was it perfect? No. And we have tried to improve upon it. We haven't improved. It's
Yeah.
not better now. Men are not happier in general. Women are not happier in general.
Mm-hmm.
So if you went back to the old way, were some women not treated well? Were they greatly disadvantaged? Was there problems? Absolutely.
Yeah.
In general, it kind of worked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as a result, the society was more stable. There were less criminals. Were the criminals? Yes. But if you're looking for perfection, look, we don't live in a perfect world. This is where I'm really struggling with the feminists who immediately go to the extreme. Anecdotal evidence. But like this girl, she was so abused and poor thing. I'm like,
It probably happened.
It probably happened.
Okay, that one person,
Yeah.
it really sucked. It probably happened.
But it's
But
not.
that doesn't mean we have to reinvent everything to prevent one bad incident. We have to create 99 almost as bad incidents. And okay, who benefits? Okay, there one bad woman was abused, so we need no fault divorce, and we need
just to protect one woman
hold
at the
these
expense
men accountable.
at the expense of
now,
everything and everyone else. Yeah.
Okay, so one woman benefits.
Mm-hmm.
She has 2 kids who are deprived of their father,
Mm-hmm.
and the husband is enslaved and kept from his kids, so he can't raise the kids. So in order to theoretically save this one woman, you have to trash 3 other people.
Yes. Yeah. It's statistically, like, it's irrelevant, it's insignificant. Trying to save one person when everyone else has to suffer, it's or like changing and bending the rules to satisfy one person. And there might be what they will try, but this and this person and this person, they will start picking, like the people that like cherry picking. Oh, I know so many friends who do you remember how we talked about that people with the same kind of intelligence level that they attract the same people who think alike. So they will find similar, like Me Too movement, right? Like all of the chicks who were hating on men united, and then they think alike because they have the same IQ level there.
Well, women rush to the middle, to consensus. So they cluster around similar viewpoints and thoughts, and then they bicker amongst themselves. They don't want to be different. Where a man, I don't care. I'll stand up. I'll stand apart. I don't give a fuck. My beliefs, my morals, my degeneracy, whatever, I'll be who I am, and you can like me or not. Men have no problem with that reality, but that scares the crap out of a woman to be apart from the herd.
Lemmings, women are lemmings. Oh god, I did so many. I just have it sitting in my head, guys, because I do a lot of clips for the Resurgence of Sanity, guys. Please subscribe to the Resurgence of Sanity YouTube channel. Yeah, okay. Here, Tacticus wrote, very true. Generalizations are patterns, and patterns are true, not outliers. They are not the exceptions. Exactly. They live to give outliers as generalizations. Tacticus says here, female tribalism based on IQ, intellectual hurts. They wanna be, it looks like.
I
Yeah.
don't know that there's a causation here, but I think there is a correlation.
Yeah. Yeah. So true.
Yeah, okay, this restraint of women.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my conclusion. I wish this wasn't true. I wish women didn't have to be constrained, restrained.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's a lot of work. And as a man, I just want to find a woman. Oh, she's a good woman. Just stay that way. We're good. I don't want to have to ride herd over you, police, show my authority, show my restraint, monitor things, intervene all the time. That's a lot of work. I don't want to do that. I just want to find a good woman. Just stay that way, okay?
Yeah, well, see, and then the
Unfortunately,
feminists.
that's not true. Men do not want to restrain women. It is a burden
It
for
is a
men.
burden.
It's
But
a
then
duty.
women, I think, okay, the feminists try to sell it as if like, well, see how little burden I am for you. I can do everything myself. I can restrain myself. I'm perfect because I have all of these degrees, pedigrees. I'm self-sufficient woman, right? But like, how does it play out in practice? I mean, yeah, she's a total emotional basket case, and then she says, but I don't need the restraint from a man. I don't need the restraint from a man. I just want a man. I want an equal partner.
Yeah, okay. How does that usually work out?
And see, I was like, okay, we did talk about it. You told me before. You told me before that women are incapable of abstract thinking. They can't think about the future.
They
They
can't. Okay, this is not an absolute.
Okay.
So, women base their decisions and their thinking off their experiences, their
Yeah.
personal experiences. Or the next thing is, my friend who experienced this, or my cousin's, a woman my cousin knows. So that's woman. This is what happened. So they personalize that experience. Everything is based on a personalization. Abstract is taking it as if I was something else, someplace different, viewing at it from a different angle, from a different person's perspective, from a future view. If this was carried out, how would it be in the future? Okay, I call abstract thinking, because you're moving beyond
Your own personal
your
experience.
own experience. Women are not very good at that type of thing. And that's where it leads to this future thinking. Women deal with things in the now based on what she's feeling, basically her experiences.
Well, and this is where most marketing. This is how feminist BS was sold to women. It was essentially promoting that personal experience of freedom, right? You will feel this, you will be that, based on emotional manipulations. And all of the marketing you watch Instagram, all of these creams, all of these stuff that is being sold to women, it's pressing the same buttons through your feelings, through your heart, right, through your experience. You're going to get what you want, ladies, right? And then it feels empowering, it feels nice.
So this propaganda, influence on women. Elena, you have long hair. It takes a lot of effort to deal with that. Do you follow the instructions on the shampoo bottles?
No.
Wash, rinse, repeat. How many women think you got to shampoo your hair twice because it says wash, rinse, and then repeat? Obviously, you have to do it 2 times. That's a marketing technique.
I wash my hair only once because, and if you like
Oh,
rub it well, I mean, like, why to bother wasting the product? It's like, it's still
and
going
you
to
see,
wash it off.
Americans are so, what kind of clean freaks? Throughout the entire human history, people didn't shower every day. And so now you think you shower every damn day, and you got to shampoo your hair twice in the same day. You know, in the past, people didn't even have soap. They maybe didn't
Yeah.
wash your hair once a month. Okay, disgusting. I'm not advocating that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
that would be
saying.
bad. Even washing
I'm
once a
just
week,
saying.
some
We've
people
we've
can do it,
gone
but
to yeah,
yeah.
we've gone to quite the extreme here. And people don't even realize it. It's just normal. Okay.
It's
But it
so
wasn't always
true.
this way.
It's so true. Like you see, but this is how if people see, it's like monkeys see, monkeys do. If people see the experiences of other content creators or influencers who are selling this product, for example, how they are using, how they are applying it. Oh, I'm going to apply it the same way how they do it. Never mind that how they do it, it wastes a lot of product, and then you will run out of product like sooner, right? It could last you longer than, yeah. But this is all marketing. It all appeals to the personal experiment and experience. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that the feminist propaganda, it really sounds nice. It sounds appealing to women. It sounds very empowering, and it just goes straight into their hearts, straight into their feelings. This is how Satan convinced Eve to take that forbidden fruit, right? See the
Yep.
connection there? And the same thing, ladies, the same thing happened with the feminist BS.
So, what's the single most important word a man can use with a woman?
No.
See, guys, that's restraint.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. No. No, you're not. That's showing restraint. And, man, okay. So you can start out this restraint in a very minor little way. Every woman, even the most controlling woman, is going to go to you for approval.
Mm-hmm.
So when she comes to you for attention or approval, say no. Okay, that's a very minor way of showing restraint. Doesn't have to be a big deal, but you get her used to some restraint. And guess what? When you say no, you're showing that you have the authority.
Yes.
And then she kind of has to respect the authority. And there's a penalty reward thing. If she
Mm-hmm.
comes to you and you say no, good, it's no. But then you, as a man, have to be reward her at other times, or even during that time. Listen to her, give her the acknowledgement and the support and the love. No, but I love you. Or no, you're not doing that today. Give her a hug. We'll talk about it again maybe next week.
Yeah.
So, okay, she got what she wanted. Oh,
Mhm.
wow. I got acknowledgement, love, and support and attention. I was just told no. Oh, restraint. Okay, I guess I have to respect him. Really wasn't a bad experience.
Yeah. Well, now I see it's in reverse. It's in reverse. Men come to women and they're like, sweetie, they're begging for female attention. They're begging for female validation. It doesn't end well. When you invert this order, when you invert this hierarchy, and we don't have Nick with us today, but I'm sure that this is probably what he would say, it just leads to chaos. It leads to disaster. There is no marriage. There is no family. There is whatever feminist crap, such as equal partnership, but it's not a family. If a man is not in charge in the family, if he doesn't maintain his frame and execute upon it, if he doesn't impose any consequences and boundaries on his wife and on his children, it's not a family, guys.
So, you don't have to be an authoritarian to do this. No, this is not an ideal situation, but let's say you're married to the average woman who thinks you're in a partnership and you're having a discussion and kind of comes up this whole equality and I'm a partner and I get a decision and blah, blah, blah. You can say, oh, okay, so you're going to take equal responsibility for the outcome, or if you make this decision, you're going to be responsible for how it turns out, right? And I'm not going to have to bail you out.
She can say yes. Okay,
her.
Steve. Okay, hold on a second. She can say yes, but then she will demand that he will still bail her out. And
Then yeah, exactly.
in practice, he will still end up bailing her out. This is why it's not just enough to say no.
So you try it, and she does exactly that.
Yeah.
You bail her out, and then she comes and wants to do it again. You say, oh man, yeah, okay, I remember the last time. I want your agreement in writing. Write this down, sign it, that you're responsible for this decision and the outcome. Okay, so again, you're imposing a restraint on her. External accountability. Because the last time she finagled it, she manipulated, she says this, and then afterwards changed the narrative where it wasn't her fault because she doesn't want to be accountable. Get it in writing. And you can do this theoretically very mildly without a big confrontation.
Yeah.
Without an argument. No, okay. You want to do this? We don't need to have an argument about this.
Yeah.
Here, let's just settle it now.
Mhm.
Write down, here's what you're going to do, and you take responsibility for the outcome. Sign your name. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm looking into Stefan's Baskerville's article that I read yesterday, Steve, and I think he did mention the marriage contract somewhere in there. Like it's kind of like where it would all of the conditions would be outlaid in the contract, kind of the idea that you were promoting a while ago. This is what's like, I don't remember exactly where it was in the article, but I think it was somewhere in the
Well, yeah. Everybody talks about, oh, you need a prenuptial contract.
Mm-hmm.
Or what happens when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, the Catholic Church is against that. How about a marriage contract?
Yeah.
Because people have no idea what marriage rules are, how you're going to conduct it. Do a contract. This is how we're going to do things within the marriage while it's working. And yeah, okay. Then an addendum later on, if it doesn't work, then this is how it's going to be dealt with. But get it in writing, what you're going to do, what she's going to do, what the responsibilities are, who, you know, what the dynamics are. Is she going to stay home? Is she going to,
It actually
whatever.
It would make
Figure it out.
It would make total sense, especially when women have been when women have been working in the corporate environment. They are familiar to some extent with the documents that they sign for work, right? Whenever you
Sure.
are getting employed, so these are your duties, right? How is it called, job description or something? And then
Right.
she signs it, right? So she knows that if she doesn't comply, she can be fired at any moment. Because of that upbringing that women already have, it's psychologically, it's going to be relatively easy to implement, actually. Because they're okay, it's just a job. I'm hiring. I'm hiring, but they are not going.
I'll say it's doable.
It's doable, right? I mean, they already do it for work, right? If they want marriage, if they want commitment from one guy, if they want to be taken care of, here, you know. Otherwise, like when they prioritize their work, they are already. This is where we started today's live stream. We were talking about how women prioritize the corporation they are working for instead of the husband they are with. They don't value the husband on the same level they value corporation. So what our legal system did is just devalued men completely. Say, well, here are the corporations, ladies, abide by the rules of the corporations, right? Your husband is superfluous. He doesn't matter. He's your slave.
So, you know, before we bring this to a close, a lot of women are going to say, well, the husband is in authority over me and he's going to show restraints and tell me what to do. Who's going to tell him what to do? Mm-hmm. Who's restraining him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. I believe in the Bible. And if Nick was here, he could quote the verse. Man is the glory of God. Woman is the glory of man.
Mm-hmm.
A man worships in church with his head uncovered. A woman is supposed to worship with her head covered. So she's accountable to him. He's accountable to God. And how do you know this is true? Because a good man doesn't have a problem being accountable. Saying, I screwed up. I got to fix it. It's my responsibility. That means a man has internal controls and he is obedient or under God. And he has that built into him. The majority of men. Not every man. Yes, you can find some bad men. But, okay, so a woman who says, well, I'm accountable to him and he's accountable to nobody. No, bullshit. He's accountable to himself and he's accountable to God. Now, if that's not good enough for you, don't get married.
Yeah. True. And my husband would also say that men hold each other accountable. It's not women. Men hold each other accountable. the emotionally unregulated creature, such as female. And I'm not saying that women are bad. Look, I'm a woman myself, and it's just
So,
we are who we are, right? We are emotionally unhinged by our raw nature. We need to be restrained by men.
so I just thought of something.
Hmm.
Men hold each other accountable. Women hold each other blameless.
Oh, that's a good one. I love this one. Blameless. Oh, wow. Hmm. That's a good one. Yeah. And then I recently also saw the interview with Joker where he said that men hold 100% of power all the time. They just don't realize it.
Yeah, we
Because
kind of talked about that.
yeah,
didn't we?
because see, the goal of the feminist propaganda was to brainwash men into becoming the slaves and giving up their control, giving up their power, right? When in reality, men are the ones who uh, hold access to commitment, to relationship. They can choose not to deal with women. Essentially, this is what men are doing, whether they are Christian or not. It doesn't matter. It's um
Okay.
the community of men. They decided it's not a good deal for them anymore because they don't have the authority in the family.
Okay, let me throw something out here. Can- You can tell me if this is true. Okay, if men hold all the power, that would mean that the woman needs his approval and attention more than he needs her pussy.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, and it's actually true. Why do we see so many public whores on social media looking
So,
for
so
attention? It's like,
okay,
man, don't give it to
man,
them.
you realize how much you want her pussy.
Hmm.
Realize how much she needs your attention and approval.
Hmm.
And if you withhold that from her, from
Yes.
in the early stages,
Hmm.
she'll give it up, right? She'll will a woman gladly exchange pussy for attention and
Oh yeah.
acknowledgement and approval? Hey, OnlyFans? Oh, I'll show you my starfish and you're going to give me money and attention. Oh, man, it's all over. It's everything. It's, it's the way society works. He is giving up sex for attention and approval.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. If women don't get that attention and approval, then they will do something else to get it because it's their currency. They want it, right? They will do anything to get it. It's up to men to set those standards and boundaries and expectations. Because if you gentlemen give up your money, if you wife up these worthless women, you are giving women the power. If you are giving it
Yeah,
up for free without placing any restraints, any uh, accountability, without setting healthy standards and boundaries for women, then
right. And women get the ick
yeah.
for men that don't have power. You give her the power, she gives you the ick.
Hmm. Yeah. Great point, Steve. 100% agree. Yeah.
So, are you going to go back to the kitchen and chain yourself to the stove now?
Yes. I actually say it to Lila Rose. It's like, if she wants to solve the problem, go back to the kitchen and, vote for mandatory paternity rights and vote for the automatic custody for kids going to the father. I don't think the Tretcons are going to like me for saying that.
Right.
But I mean, come on. And it shows that, like, it shows who actually is here to solve the problems and who here is just to promote the popular feminist narrative. It may not be like directly feminist, but it's feminism in disguise. It's feminism doing the speed limit. Because promoting single motherhood through various means and giving them the jail-free card will only create more single mothers and fatherless children. It's not going to solve the problem. Look, if custody didn't go to the mother, the father would remain his authority. And then the mother, she could leave, but then she wouldn't get paid to do that. She's welcome to leave if she's not happy with marriage, but something tells me that more women would be willing to stay in the marriage if they knew that there would be consequences, if they knew that they wouldn't get anything out of it.
True. Don't expect this to change.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have come to the conclusion
Mm-hmm.
that the system has been implemented by design.
Yeah.
Whoever is above even the president, pulling the strings, what happens? They designed this, and it's been ongoing for 100 years or more. It's not going to change because they don't want it to change. They'll pay lip service to it. It's not going to change. And therefore, whatever's happening now, is going to continue until the whole system implodes. But here's the devious part. When things get really nuts, things change, and they have an idea how they want to change things. Do you remember? Okay, this is kind of a conspiracy thing, but you remember the Georgia Guidestones?
No, remind
You
me.
know those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these were real.
Mm-hmm.
In Georgia, there was these big granite slabs that were put outside some place.
Mm-hmm.
And they had these utopian goals of climate change, and we're going to reduce carbon, and we're going to reduce the world's population to 500 million. And everybody wondered, what the hell are these things about? What kind of weirdness? Well, then magically, about 3-4 years ago, somebody crashed a car into them. And they were demolished and removed. Okay, out of sight, out of mind. But what if that was the intention of some people who are implementing their design, on the education system, on everything, and they are actually reducing the population, reducing the birth rate, and by making families more of a rarity, by empowering women and restraining men. We're on the verge of a population collapse. Could it be that this is happening? Or are you going to be one of those people who says, oh, no, that's not possible. If that was true, someone would do something about it. Okay. Is anything happening? Is the birth rate continuing to decline? Is marriage, the marriage rate lower today than it was 5 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody doing anything about it? Or
I don't think they want
are we
those who
going?
could, like those who actually could do it. They don't want to do it because they are
Maybe they
benefiting.
don't, they're not
They-
allowed to do it. Maybe they're controlled. Maybe it's in their benefit to not do it.
to not do exactly. This is where I was trying to go. Yeah. Whatever in the end, it's they don't want to change. They don't want to change anything. So it's up to the individuals.
you
It's
gotta
up to
make
the
up your own mind.
individuals. Like Professor Baskerville was saying that a marriage strike alone could actually save a lot of lives, and it could start solving the problem.
And it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if things are going to change. I see no one implementing any policies to avoid the bad stuff that I think is going to come.
I don't see that. No, but in action, and this is where I think because I was reading Professor Baskerville's articles for a while now. I've been following his work, and yeah, he's been saying that people do the talk. Everyone is unhappy, it looks like, with feminism, and everyone is griping about it. But we need action. We need people to start actually doing something so that our children can have better life.
Well, if we lived in a democracy, we could just vote different people in to actually do our will and change things. Yeah, somehow.
Well, he says also that it's not going to be the like conventional way how people used to think, like let's create a lobby or let's do those things. In his recent articles, guys, go read it. Okay, it's a very interesting article. I'll share it with you, Steve, because
okay.
Yeah, and it has to come from the man individually, but as a group. Because you gentlemen, you hold the power. You have 100% of the power that you don't realize you have.
And let me say again, you have the power to give attention and affirmation to women. And that is more powerful. That is more important to them than what you want from them. So withhold that. Withhold your service. Withhold your praise, your affirmation, your attention until she behaves. You have the power.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, Steve. Yeah, great conversation today. I was really tired and sleepy, but we went through it, guys. It's always great talking to you. Yeah, guys, I'm going to share with you the schedule of our activities here so that you can see what we are doing here on my channel. Join us for interesting controversial discussions on Saturdays at 9:15 a.m. Pacific with the Resurgence of Sanity guys. And then please go support the Resurgence of Sanity guys. They have very interesting discussions on Wednesdays at 5:45 p.m. Pacific. Then I run my regular fitness workouts that you can join us for from Mondays to Fridays and Sundays at 9:15 a.m. Pacific. Then you can join me for the regular piano practice on Sundays at 11:15 a.m. Pacific. And please, if you want to stay fit and healthy, and if you need to develop the consistency and learn more about how to prevent common fitness injuries from happening, sign up for the cross-training fitness program on Udemy that I have there, okay? And then I have a lot of workouts for you on Patreon as well. And occasionally I write Substack articles as a summary to our interesting discussions. So please go subscribe to my Substack as well, okay? And feel free to share the articles and all of our videos. They do help. Okay, well, I think this concludes our live stream today, guys. Great to see everyone. Thank you, White Claws. Thank you, Tacticus, for being here today with us, and to everyone else who joins us. If you're watching the replay, leave a comment. Tell us what you think about these topics, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Yep.
Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre, the best place on the internet, the very best.